So let's do this. We're moving over to 8 minutes per mile now, okay, which is a 3:30 marathon. And if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm in a marathon series right now, and I'm going over basically half-minute milestones. So I started at 10 minutes, then I went to 9:30 and 9 minute per mile. 8:30, 8 minutes. I'm going to go all the way down to about 5:30 or maybe even 5 minutes. And workouts that you should be doing to help achieve these milestones, okay? And these are workouts that I've used on a lot of athletes that I've coached over the marathon for the last 2 decades. So these are things that you could use. You can use and modify into your own, whatever you feel is most appropriate if you're an athlete or a coach. But I want to at least show you some of the things that I do as a coach. And so you have as much access to as much info as possible, as much content as possible. And if you want more, just make sure you subscribe to the channel right now and go take a look. I've got 200 plus videos of training content, everything from the 800 meters up to the marathon. All different levels, injury prevention, all different types of stuff. Workouts galore, cross-country, roads, track, I mean, you name it, probably on this channel. And I'm going to continue adding as well. So with that said, I'm going to take you over to the whiteboard so you can see it all. And this is 8:30. Excuse me, 8 minutes, okay? Which is 3:30 for the marathon, all right? Let's get you here. So again, 3:30, and you'll see a consistent pattern. If you look at 10 minutes, 9:30, there's a progression. Every 2 videos, I make a few tweaks to the workouts, okay? And you see a progression, meaning an increase or certain things, or a modification of certain things. So to give you a little bit more variety, but just show you how to progress as you get more experience and more fit and so on. And it also gives you an option of, the progression so that you may have some folks that can only handle a little bit less, or some folks who can tolerate more volume. It really depends on their, not only their lifestyle, but their ability to handle work, particularly when it comes to marathon training, because it's more robust for the most part, okay, than training for a 5K. So we start with hill sprints, okay? I'm a firm believer in speed development, and that's for any event you're training for. And I do it 2 different ways. I do hill sprints and then flat sprinting once per week, okay? But you can alternate it any way you like, but 150 to 200 meter hill sprints, okay? You find a steep hill, and you attack that hill, and it's as hard as you possibly can, all right? You keep your body upright, you're pumping your arms, you're lifting your knees, leaning into the hill slightly, and what this does is it helps develop leg power, leg speed, and you're working speed development in an uphill instead of on a flat or on even a downhill. This is the least invasive way of building speed development, but it's also critical because it not only helps you build leg speed and leg power, but it also gives you practice running uphill, because you'll find races that have rolling hills, and you want to know what it feels like to accelerate up these things. You can do something called momentum hills too. I have a video on that on my channel. I think you'll find it pretty entertaining and pretty educational. So take a look at that one too if you're into hills, or if you want to find different ways to incorporate them into training. Then you do attack the hill. You do about 6 to 8 reps, and then you jog equal or walk equal back down, okay? And again, some folks I know use this as a workout itself, and you sandwich in between a longer warm-up and a longer cool-down, or they do it after an easy 6-mile run or whatever, 5-mile run. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. Secondly, the flat sprints, flat sprints that complement the uphill sprints. In this case, it's a little bit longer, so it's 200 to 300 meters, the same 6 to 8 reps, and you essentially, you can either do it on the road or the track or the grass or the dirt. These are essentially any 5K pace to 3K pace, okay? Commensurate with a 3:30 marathon, okay? So that type of pace acts as good speed development for marathon training, all right? You do the same jog equal recovery, or jog walk, or walk, whatever you need to do. And again, it could be after an easy run. It could be after, at the end of a workout, at the end of a tempo run, or however you want to incorporate it. But I highly encourage folks to do uphill sprints once a week, and then flat sprints once a week, and then maybe strides another day. But these are important components of speed development. And again, the speed development also helps you become a more efficient runner, okay? Helps you develop an efficient stride pattern, an effective stride pattern. As the races get longer, I say this a lot, energy conservation and being efficient with your running stride and your running posture becomes that much more important, okay? Because the fatigue factor comes in, and being fatigued at 20 miles is not the same as being fatigued at 2 miles, okay? 20 miles, the grizzly bear starts to jump on your back, so it's a little bit different when you start your posture and your running form starts to go against your body's momentum going forward. So there's a lot of things or dynamics that could incorporate themselves that you want to try to avoid, okay? So Those are two key important components. Thirdly, a semi-long run. Now, this is to me, I highly encourage folks to do a semi-long run once a week if you can. If you can't, then once every other week. But this is a run that you build up to about 75%, between 60 and 75% of what the long run is. Okay, it also teaches you to be on your legs for an extended period of time, a second time in a week. And this could be an easy run. At this level here, take about 10 or 11 miles. And you'll see I've been gradually building it since 8 miles, and I keep going as these videos get faster. So you can start an easy pace, or you can go easy to progression. So meaning you can do an easy run, and you can start about 90 seconds slower. So this is essentially 8 minutes per mile. You could start at, let's say, 9:30 per mile and work your way towards 8 minutes per mile. It can act as a workout. It can act as a steady run. It's completely up to you, okay, as to how you lay out training. But it's a good secondary long run, okay. Next, an actual workout, okay, 1,000-meter repeats. The first couple of videos I've been doing 800-meter repeats, okay, at a certain pace. And just as an FYI, generally 800-meter repeats, if you look at the goal pace, if it's 4 hours, 800-meter repeats start at 4 minutes and they get faster. So in this case, 800-meter repeats, if you were to do that, would start at 3:30 and work their way down to maybe 3:26 or something like that. But in this case, it's 1,000-meter repeats, but it follows the same thing. So it's 3:30 through the 800, but when you go to 1,000, it's go to 4:22. Okay, so you're working your way from 4:22 to 4:19 per rep. Okay, and again, it's 3:30 through the 800. That means it's a minute 45 through the 400. Okay, and 52 seconds through the 200. Okay, just at a little bit longer rep. And again, and this is a workout you can do 4 times. You say, and let's say you have a 20-minute. You're giving yourself 20 weeks to prepare. You do this workout every 4 weeks. If you give yourself 16 weeks to prepare, you do it every 3 weeks. If you give yourself 12 weeks, you do it every 2 weeks, okay? But you progress from 5 reps to then 6 reps to the next workout, 7 reps to the next workout, and 8 reps to the next workout. So instead of doing the same workout and trying to run it faster each time, you're adding volume at the goal pace you're trying to run, okay? And since they're not 5K reps and things like that, you can handle the faster pace here, okay? But again, 1,000-meter repeats. It's a staple of a lot of, training for 5K, for 10K, for half marathon, whatever it may be. It's also a good workout for marathon training. And this could serve as VO2 max work, which is essentially about a minute faster per mile than goal marathon pace. So, and if you look at it, 3:30 for the 800, the 800, add double it for the mile. It's 7 minutes per mile. A minute faster than goal pace. That's kind of how you break it down, the VO2. So, an easy way to break it down. And lastly, and not least important, is the long run. It's one of the key runs you have to build for marathon training. And then again, it's complementary to 5K, to 10K, to half marathon as well. So we're building towards 20 miles here. And again, the goal is to get to doing a 20-mile run at least once, but the more time you give yourself, and I highly recommend or encourage folks to give yourself 16 to 20 weeks if you have it available, if it fits into your lifestyle, if you can handle it, okay? Building towards 20 miles, and if you can do it twice, that's great. If you can do it 3 times, it's even better, but depends on how much you give. And your last 20-mile run should be about 3 to 4 weeks out from the race, and then you start tapering it back a little bit. So there's a lot of different ways you can do it. You can do a progression from 9:30 to 8 minutes per mile, which is a similar progression to your semi-long run, 90 seconds slower towards goal pace, okay? Or you can do it at 90 to 95% of goal pace, which is 8:45 to 9:15. It's about 45 seconds to a minute 15 slower per mile, okay? Or you could also do, 10 miles and 10 miles, but I have it broken down into 4 increments here. So 5 miles easy, then 5 miles at marathon pace, 8 minutes per mile, then 5 miles easy, then 5 miles at marathon pace, okay? This is a workout you can mix a lot of different ways. Here, you're getting it kind of in the middle, and you're getting marathon pace at the end. You need to know what it feels like to run marathon pace at the end of the long run, too. You could switch it around. You could start off with 5 minutes at marathon pace, so 5 miles, and then go 5 easy, then 5 at marathon pace, and 5 easy. You can do it a lot of ways. So you can do 10 easy to steady, and then 10 at marathon pace. Or you could do 5 easy, 10 at marathon pace, and 5 at the end that are easy as well. So a lot of different ways, but you need to know what it feels like to run goal marathon pace at any point in time in the long run, okay? Which is why you have a lot of options here, okay? And like I said, 10 and 10. And lastly, and I haven't mentioned here, but is simulate, okay? simulate meaning always take a look at the road map or the course map of whatever marathon you're running. If it's a rolling course, then it's a good idea to do your long runs and a lot of your workouts over rolling areas. Not only to help simulate and get used to pace fluctuation, but another way to build up a lot of that leg strength. And again, that's the thing too. If it's a flat marathon pace, it's much easier to lock into goal paces. There's a lot of unpredictabilities in rolling courses because some of the hills are going to be short, some of them are going to be long. You don't know what really you're going to feel like. So it's much more difficult to lock into the pace. But if you're doing workouts over that type of stuff and simulate as much as you can, then you'll be much better off come race day, okay? And it's a great way of building strength, and it's a great way of building. It's also a great way of building strength for flat marathons. So you can do rolling long runs in flat marathons for a flat marathon race as well, and just do the workouts on the flat. So a lot of different ways you can do it, but these are some of the key things, okay? You know, a long run, a semi-long run, 2 types of speed development, okay? And they all complement each other. All these things work together in unison. And then a workout. Okay, you can do 2 workouts a week as well. There's nothing that says you have to do that, but you know, I like to do one quality workout just to kind of lay this out here, a long run and a semi-long run, which can act as a workout. The long run can act as a workout too. So especially if you're adding marathon pace, it's going to take a few extra days to recover from it. So there's nothing really, you don't have to do a long run Sunday and then a workout Tuesday, a workout Thursday. Especially if the long run's really hard, there's no need to do a Tuesday workout. You can just do some short speed stuff and then just do the workout Thursday. So again, giving yourself sufficient recovery is also important here as well. So let me know what you think of this. And if you found it helpful, hit the thumbs up. You know, please, recommend it to some other athletes and coaches who you might think might benefit from it. And my next video is going to be 7:30 per mile as well. So that's going to be the next one, which is going to be sub 3:20. So we're working our way down in that marathon. So be on the lookout for that. Train hard and be healthy. I'll talk to you next time.